Hi, and welcome to Sandy's Numerology. It is 2023. So let's have a look at what I'm going to do first is the global 2023. Then I'm going to get to Russia and Ukraine. Then I'm going to go to South Africa and CYRIL, the DA, and one or two other people. So 2023, let's just go back. 2020, lockdown. 2021, great difficulties around the world. A lot of truths and untruths, and COVID seemed to gain its momentum. I still believe that South Africa handled it very, very well, and so did the people of South Africa. Moved into 2022, which meant as we go, we have to go back so that we can move forward. And now 2023 adds to a 7, and this is called freedom of movement. So it's seeming that much, much more is going to be opening up, and a lot more freedom for the people. But the main word tied to freedom is the word move and movement. It's about direction and the direction that the world is taking, new direction. So this is going to be about a lot of new things that have been in the works that are going to come to the fore and be more the norm, so to speak. It is about transportation. Every kind of vehicle, from whether it's sporting vehicles, from scooters, motorbikes, cars, trucks, planes, boats, trains, and it even pushes to anything else that has movement, which would be space and space travel. It includes the negative, which is tragedies and accidents. And in a year that added to a 7, we had the Malaysia accident. That plane disappeared. In the hope of new transportation, we know about hybrid and we know about fuel-less cars. It's now going to become absolutely the norm over the next couple of years that this is going to be having the freedom of movement, which means, is it fuel that we free of? So in that new direction, which is vehicle related, which impacts the whole global year, this is not country specific, unless the country is in a 7 during the course of 2023, it impacts them. It's about security and insecurity. And the main word I always look at for security and insecurity is money. And we know that many countries are developing their crypto. South Africa, it's been in the works for about 15 or 16 years. So maybe we'll see that come to light. I'm not too sure of that process. But this is about your security that you instill for your profiles and bank accounts, etc., because the insecurity is going to be when somebody gets into your money and creates that insecurity. So safety for everybody out there is important. And I know a lot of stuff on Google is about how your PIN or your ID or whatever is going to be more so important. Your picture, your thumbprint, your iris, and please make sure that you are watching out for any criminal, because that is also a 7 activity, and this can be coming from within your bank. We know a lot of banks have had to get rid of a lot of staff because they were part of the crime that was happening, where bank accounts and credit cards, etc., were hacked. So please be extra careful. The wonderful thing is that 7 means fame and infamous. It's crime and criminals, it's the devious, but 7 means public and famous or infamous as well. So there's going to be a lot of people that will come to light in the word crime, and crimes that they committed, and will become in the public eye. One of the magic things about a 7 is romance and love. It brings in, from a weather perspective, it brings in rainbow, rain, sunshine, and then it brings in the sea. Now 7, which is the number for the Cancerians, is ruled by the moon, and the sea and the moon are very tied together. So we'll be seeing a lot of extra high tides. So when you get warnings about sea activity, you must heed those warnings, because this could create some tragedies. Then we look at movement of the power of water and the sea, because there is 70% water on this planet. And the minute there's a shift with the tectonic plates, and there's an exponential rise in the movement of tectonic plates and earthquakes, the minute the water gets in there, it has the power to actually shift things even more. And then that affects the sea and water. This will obviously affect volcanoes. And this, because we look at volcanoes and travel and flights, this can create that smoke, which we've heard of before, where there was a lot of plane restriction over Europe due to the lack of visibility. And that can bring in tragedies. It's a year of spirituality and investigating and researching anything. It's about the mysteries and the esoteric side of life. It's about to defend, it's defensive, to protect. It's about loyalty. It's about commitment. And another very big word is the word trust. So let's go back. Careful who you trust. If you're going to give trust, you must expect that there could be a negative action that will come with the way one gives, without kind of realizing that there will be no payback. Another magical thing, and 7 is about magic as well, is, remember Gangnam Style? That was a 7 year, and it just exploded around the world. We are in the year of music and art and theater. So to all of our entertainers, it's just going to be exponential for your careers and for us to be able to enjoy your talents. it's about culture. Now, the culture in a 7 is about the fabric of the people and the places. It is about kindness. It's about public. It's about open. It's about honesty. And let's look at other kinds of things that travel. This can be, we know that North Korea keeps letting off missiles, and it can be weapon related. And this could also be an accident that it goes off its path and a tragedy happens. And it's also about asteroids. So now we go to South Africa, and I'd like to just do a recap on some of the predictions that are made under 2022, which, if you're South African, you know about this, but this also would have been happening around the world, is it was a year of children. And one thing really stands out for me was the kidnapping of the Moti boys. It's about families, it was about food, it was about virus. And because 2022 added to a 6, it resurfaced Ebola, it surfaced monkeypox. They're from the past. And it seems that the monkeypox was handled very well here in South Africa, but in the Northern Hemisphere, it wasn't. The COVID scenario, now we know that there are many strains which have numbers of COVID, and this freedom of movement that is much better in 2022 is saying that COVID is kind of slowing down in its impact, with the exception of China, who has a 7 life path. And they're going to still be going through on and off, close and opens in various territories of China. The invasion of locusts, I called it grasshoppers in the 2022 video, so excuse my error there. And we saw that in South Africa. And the biggest words was mechanical, electrical, technical, and chemical. So we know from a chemical perspective what happened with the oil price, what's happened with Russia and gas throughout Europe, and also the fuel that they supply that has had problems which shifted the oil price, which seems to have settled for now. But remember, if we're in cars, planes, boats, trains, if it's fuel related, there could be a few ups and downs regarding fuel. Also, we had this major explosion of a gas vehicle that is 2022. So South Africa, we are in a personal 6. So we are not out of the meaning of 2022 until May of 2023. CYRIL announced alternate energy, that's a 6. We know with all of the theft of cables, mechanical, electrical, technical, and chemical, and we bring up Eskom, which I'll look at again now. We also saw the fires in Parliament in January of 2022. And I also said that there would be an increase of making people responsible for the crimes they committed. And we saw the court cases improve against the villains and the corruptors, and that is going to gain even more momentum because we're going into the year of fame and infamous. So the energy of the 6 for South Africa kind of starts to subside about late March, April, May. It's kind of really fading June and July. Now, our age has been a 7. We've been in a 6. Now we're going to move into our age will be an 8. And now we'll be in a personal year 7, which starts around that end of March, gains momentum, hits on the 31st of May, which is the Republic of South Africa's birth date, and then gains momentum. And our turning point is the 1st of December of every year. So the 1st of December 2023, we'll be up and into this freedom of movement. So we know that we've lost quite a few airlines, which is incredibly sad. And SAA is still shocking. But we've still got some entrepreneurs that will be shining, and that is going to give us more airlines or more freedom of movement. And I think there's going to be a nice little price fight there, which I hope, because SAA they don't care about their people. We pay for their SAA and they don't look after us. So that new direction that South Africa is going into is going to be unbelievable, because it takes us all the way through to May of 2024 into June, July. And this is new direction. And it's almost like wanting to be free from the insecurities of corruption and theft of money and crime and thieves, but a 7 still is that. But the fame and the infamous is going to broadcast them, and we're going to see who they are. So now we look at CYRIL Ramaphosa. And if you go and look at his family video, you will see in there where I said there's fraud around the home front, which would be come to light. And boy, did it. Hello, Pala. Now, CYRIL should have been voicing and speaking and connecting with the people, but he was very reserved in general, across the board, about his presence. And it was in 2021, this Pala story goes back to 2019, and it's just been festering and growing, and then it got brought out when he was in his 55 in 2022 until November, when his birthday is on the 17th of November. But because you still got that drag out, then Arthur Fraser exposed the whole Pala story. So one note on Arthur Fraser: you're in detriment for the next 4 years. So legal matters are going to circle around that throat of yours. But getting to CYRIL, at his birthday in November of 2022, he went into a 7 personal. He's got a 7 in his day. And he is now, his age adds to a 7. So he's in line with the global. He's pretty much 7 months ahead of South Africa. So with the 7s in his personal and public, he wants to go in a new direction. He is going to be famous and pala pala infamous. So that's still knocking on the door, and 7 means public and on stage, which is on paper, in the newspapers, radio, etc., and TV. So this is going to, and 7 is very emotional and very sensitive, and he is. So he's going to, this is very personal, this whole pala pala thing. And so that is going to be more coming to light. But with him being in the 7s, he wants this new direction. He wants to move in a new direction personally. His age is a 7, so in his career, whether it's president of the ANC or president of the country, he wants to move things in a new direction. So let's look at the ANC. Now, there's 2 dates that I have for the ANC. The one is when ANC was founded in the church in Bloemfontein, which is the 8th of January, 1912. And this energy of the new numbers going into a 7 personal ties in with CYRIL. So there's a new direction for that founding date. Age will be a 3. And it's how they are going to engage positively with the people out there in South Africa. But what is more important is that date was not official. And the ANC only became official on the 3rd of February, 1990. So they're born on the 3rd of February, gives them double hidden 5s and a 6 life path. Now, currently, the ANC official date, they're in an 11 personal, and there's been that divide, the 2 sides. This has been about people and their legal contracts, and it affects people with 11s, which is Ace Magashule, or people with 11 2s, which is Zweli Mkhize. So, just to get Ace Magashule out the way, next 4.5 years, he's in detriment. Again, like Arthur Fraser, that rope is going to swing around the neck of Ace Magashule. Zweli Mkhize, born on the 2nd of February 1956, is going into an 11, 2, and a 4 year that gives him triple 4s, and it's going to give him triple 11 2s. Not a good year for him either. So he has also got legal matters that are going to surface, and that's going to be there for the next 3 or 4 years. So he is not out of the woods regarding the PE story. I think I've got the word PE wrong. But anyway, Jacob Zuma, well, this is interesting. He is in a 4, and he's got triple 4s. His age adds to an 8, which is 80. This is total restriction. This is pullback. This is lockdown. This is, could he go back to jail? We know that that is the court, what the courts have said. Now he is fighting that. But yes, could he go back to jail? Yes. But Zuma is a born liar. He's got a 5 life path. And Jacob, with all of your delays and court action after court action after court action, and I think there's been a lot of smarts around you and your lawyer of throwing cases at the courts, but this is a 5 personal. This is your worst year. And this is about your lies, disclosure, and discovery. The more you lie, the more the discovery. Now, you are definitely a narcissist, so you always blame everybody else or point everybody to look elsewhere and not at you, but you really have got double hidden 7s, which is fame and infamous. So you are definitely going to be remembered as one of the most corrupt presidents in South Africa. So your year, Jacob Zuma, in 2023 to 2024 is incredibly unpleasant. Now, we go to look at the Ukraine and Vladimir Zelensky. I beg your pardon. I want to look at the DA first. So ANC, founded in the church in Bloem, is in a 7 personal, needs a new direction. ANC, born on the 3rd of February, is going into a 3 personal. So there's going to be a lot more of the word female and woman coming to light and shining within the ANC party. Their age will be 33, and they've got a 6 life path, and 33 adds to a 6. So it's like their focus is misfiring for the next year until 2024. But this is also about responsibility and irresponsibility. But with that 3 and 6, they've got a 3 in their day. They're going to be in a 3 personal. The age is a 6. They've got a 6 life path. So this is all about the game playing, and it's about materialism and materialistic and the games that they play. But this is the game that they're playing with themselves. Now, the DA, which was born on the 24th of June, 2000, they're in a 9-4 until June of 2023. And that 4 makes them 22 years old, which is about heading up, overseeing, taking charge, being a boss. And this is where they are in certain municipalities or metropoles where they've heading up and overseeing. However, they have a 5 life path, and from June of 2023, their age is going to be a 5. They're going to be in a 1 personal. So the 1 personal is identity. Now, my feeling about the DA is all I ever hear is when they are suing another party or bringing things to light about another party, which is good that they expose that. But who are the DA? They need to let them know who they are for the people of South Africa and what they're going to do, versus constantly hearing about them going at another party or vice versa and them reacting. They've got to stand up. They've got to stand out. So in a way, this is quite a good year if they activate that. But their age is going to be a 5. So this is them disclosing things that they've discovered, and 5 is politics and corruption. However, it bounces back because they've got a 5 life path, and this is also about their disclosure about them and corruption, and that word racism is going to shine. So DA, you've got to get really, really smart if you want to hold ground. The ANC is going to have a huge problem in 2024. A lot of the parties are. But I will get to that when we get closer to election date, which has to be before November of 2024. So we need ANC to go in a new direction, not to be abusive about material, money, and be more pro-woman in the party. And the DA has got to kick its own behind into gear as to who are they. Last but not least, I'm going to look at Russia and Ukraine. The date that I use for Russia is the 12th of December, 1991, which gives them double ones, double twos, double threes, double sixes in an 8 life path, and they are in a 3 personal year, which gives them triple threes through 2023. And this is 3 is supposed to be about rhythm and movement and dance and beauty and beautiful and luxury and material and money and whatever. But this is in detriment. So it's almost that, you know, to go to the shops and be able to buy. We know how many companies have pulled out of Russia. So there's a lot of loss of material gains, material values, or material items. That's going to be exponential. And then the age is a 4, which age is, it's like going back to 2020, that the incoming and the outgoing is restricted. Now, if we get down to December of 2023, bring it back 2 months, the new energy starts to come in and they go into a 4 personal. And 2025, they'll be in a 5 personal. And this is going to be a structural change in politics. So know that there is something happening. And let's look at Vladimir Putin. He's born on the 7th of October, 1952. He's got triple sevens, triple eights. He's got a 7 life path. And Vladimir and Putin adds to a 6, and he's in a 6-8 year as of October 2022 to October 2023. Now, there is the Russia-Ukraine video that's up on my YouTube, so go and have a look at that. But this is telling me that he's got a major health problem. Now, historically, it says that there is cancer and heart, as well as the 7 is about freedom of movement. So we know that you never see his legs because he's got a thing about his legs, and he always, even if he's fishing, he's wearing trousers. So his freedom of movement, which can be about heart attack or stroke. 8 is about organs, so it can be heart, but this can be cancer related as well. He's in detriment for the next 3 years, starting October 2022 to 2023 to 2024 and all the way to 2025, which is telling you that when you look at what's going on with the 12th date for Russia, is there's going to be a restructuring at the top of Russia. So a lot of difficulties. And the thing is that Russia in December of 2023 goes into a 5 public, which is still war, but difficulties, import and export. So there's still military, politics, truths, untruths. So there's a lot of problems that are coming up for Russia over the next 3 years. I'm going to go 4 years. 2023, 4, 5, 6. Now, the Ukraine is born on the 24th of August. They've got double hidden 5s and a 7 life path. And from August of 2022, they went into an 11 personal. Now, the benefits of that 11 is partnerships. And America's double hidden 11s, Britain's double hidden 11s, China's double hidden 11s, Australia's double hidden 11s. Who would complement the Ukraine? Now, it's interesting that the Ukraine has looked to join the main body of the world, and this 11-2 can actually assist that process. But the 11-2 is on, off, make, break, affected by the world. It's affected by water. Hopefully, no tremors and no earthquakes, and very, very unsettled year. And this 11 is also negotiations for a peace process. But I feel that February of 2023 going forward is better to get into them, but they'll be on off. But as they get closer to August and just after September, October, there could be ceasefires along the way, but then reactivated and then renegotiation. And that could come to some kind of an end. But their age adds to a 4, which is the same as Russia's age. So there's been a lot of restriction of them moving and receiving and inward and outward. But I still feel that there's a lot of things happening that is around the sea, which is supplying. And let me tell you something, even if countries are not allowed to supply Ukraine or not allowed to supply Russia, business is business. Now, Ukraine in August goes into a 3 personal, which starts to lighten up things, but it will take until 2024 February to get better. But the age will be a 5, and they've got double hidden 5. So there is a lot of difficulties. Russia, their age will also be a 5. So there's a lot of difficulties, politicking, power games, corruption, fraud, mismanagement. And 5 is the world, but this is also import and export. So that's not the greatest year for Ukraine. The following year is slightly better, but there's going to be some massive changes that are going to happen in the process of Ukraine as a country going forward. Now, Vladimir Zelensky is born on the 25th of January, 1978. Now, he's got double hidden 8s and a 6 life path. So I'm really concerned that the anxiety and stress that he's been under will impact his health. But there is a family lineage of a health matter that could start to surface this year in 2023. And this is really sitting in his personal space, in his body. And he really needs to refocus on where he is going, what his responsibilities are, and what he needs to do. But his age is a 9. And that's on the career front and out in the public eye. There's a lot more thinking activity going on for the first 6 months. So that'll be until the 25th of July. And he is going to be making some serious decisions regarding his career as the head of state of Ukraine. And it only takes effect in 2024, where there's a shift and a change on the career front. So there's definitely something happening around his career, his country, Russia and Ukraine. And I'm just going to say, I don't see this coming to an end very, very soon. It really could take another 8 months, to even 10 months, before we start to see something positive. But it would be the start. So I'm wishing everybody lots of love and romance. lots of rainbows and sunshine, lots of travel opportunities. Because of the 7 is also to be entrepreneurial, finding your own way and your own direction. Take care of your money and secure things, save, and wishing everybody a wonderful 2023. Thank you for watching Sandy's numerology.